In Book 9, Achilles finally reappears after his furious exit in Book 1. But he's not charging into battle. He's sitting it out, still nursing his grudge against Agamemnon, who publicly humiliated him by seizing his war prize Briseis. The Greek army is crumbling without him, and the big question looms: will he return? Achilles' very name foreshadows his role. Ach is in ache, pain. Eleos is in laity, the people. He is both the bane of his enemies and the burden of his friends. He was born to the sea nymph Thetis and the mortal king Peleus, making him half-god like Heracles, but with fewer divine perks. Raised alongside his inseparable friend Patroclus, Achilles became the fastest, deadliest warrior in Greece. But even he is mortal. After 10 years of fighting at Troy, he will fall, his swift feet failing him at last, as Paris, with Apollo's help, fires the fatal shot. Achilles isn't the best warrior because he's the strongest or smartest. He's the best because he's the fastest. Speed is his superpower, his ability to strike, evade, and move before anyone else can react.
In the world of Kung Fu, speed determines the winner.
Under normal circumstances, Achilles is noble, chivalrous, even admired by Hector's wife Andromache.
My father fell to the great Achilles when he sacked our lovely town, Sicilian Tebby, of the high gates. But though Achilles killed Asian, he was too chivalrous to despise him. He burned him in his decorated arms and built a mound above him.
But the Iliad is a story of transformation. The man we meet at the start isn't the one we leave at the end. His arc, rage, error, and redemption makes him one of the most relatable heroes in all of literature. The ancient Greeks saw human agency differently than later religious traditions. To many today, nothing happens without divine will.
What ails the Englishman?
That he killed was the man he brought out of the Niflud.
It was written then.
God wills it!
To the Greeks, human ability was immense, but so was human arrogance. With enough success, we start seeing ourselves as gods. And that's where things go wrong. Enter hubris. Not just pride, but overstepping. Acting like the gods without facing the consequences. And when hubris reaches its peak, Ate follows. A moment of blindness, recklessness, or folly that leads to ruin. The Iliad is full of these moments. Agamemnon's hubris? Humiliating Achilles, believing he could do so without consequence. His Ate, insisting on fighting the Trojans despite his army being weakened. Now, in Book 9, he's desperate to undo his mistake. But does he truly understand it?
Cursed by his own hubris.
Book 9 begins in crisis. The Greeks are penned inside their camp, and Agamemnon, once supremely confident, is now suggesting they pack up and go home. Diomedes calls him a coward to his face, something that once would have sparked a massive blow-up like in Book 1. Instead, Agamemnon takes it. He knows he's made a mistake. At Nestor's suggestion, he offers Achilles a bribe. But this isn't just an apology. It's a power play. On the surface, the offer is grand. Treasure, land, slaves, Briseis untouched, even a marriage alliance to make Achilles part of his family. It should be enough to win Achilles back. But it isn't. Because Achilles sees through it. First, Agamemnon doesn't come in person. he sends envoys. That alone says this isn't a real apology, it's a deal. Second, the offer is too much, far beyond what was taken from Achilles. This isn't compensation, it's an attempt to own him. By tying Achilles to his family, Agamemnon isn't making amends. He's ensuring Achilles is forever in his debt. This poison pill is confirmed when Agamemnon, at the end of his speech, lets slip,
"Let him submit himself to me, who am his senior by so much, both as a man and as a king."
Could be the hubris.
This isn't an apology. It's an attack with gifts. Odysseus delivers the message as convincingly as possible, but Achilles shuts it down immediately and forcefully. He lays out his grievances, cutting deep with the irony that the Greeks came to avenge the theft of a woman, only to rob each other of women like Briseis. And then, in the most shocking move of all, he says he's leaving. Achilles is rejecting everything: the army, the war, his friends, and the heroic ethos itself. He must be paid. But he cannot be bought. Agamemnon has miscalculated, still treating Achilles like an asset to be managed, rather than a warrior who demands respect. The envoys panic. Phoenix, his old mentor, gives the longest speech in the Iliad, begging him to reconsider. He warns Achilles that even the gods accept offerings and change their minds. By refusing, Achilles is placing himself above the gods. That is his hubris.
You should just shut up and take the deal. Hallelujah.
Achilles refuses, even when Ajax, the no-nonsense warrior, bluntly tells him,
"You're being unreasonable, John."
He stands firm. And this is Achilles' fatal mistake. Achilles' hubris is thinking the Greeks cannot win without him, which is true, in that his refusal has no cost, which is false. The price of his pride? The death of Patroclus. That loss will break him. When Patroclus dies, Achilles will lose all reason, all restraint. He will fight not for honor or duty, but for vengeance. And when he slaughters Hector, desecrating his body, he will become the very thing he once condemned. Only in Book 24, when Priam, Hector's father, begs him for mercy, will Achilles finally step back from the brink. And in that moment, the Iliad and Achilles' arc come full circle. This cycle, hubris, Ate, and redemption, isn't just Achilles' story. It's the story, the foundation of tragedy, the hero's journey before it had a name. And it all takes shape here, in Book 9, when Achilles makes his choice. A choice that seals his fate.